And unstoppable rivers of lava roll down hillsides and swallow up homes in Spain's Canary Islands. Also, from Broadway to the big screen, we preview a new musical opening in theaters this weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
President Biden faces an important test today on a worldwide stage as he addresses the 76th session of the UN General Assembly. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, world leaders are back at the United Nations today after staying away last year due to the pandemic. One of the first speakers at the General Assembly was President Biden, who's facing scrutiny for his decisions in Afghanistan. Michael George is at the UN with the latest.
Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Standing before world leaders for the first time since U.S. troops left Afghanistan, President Biden defended his decision to end the war.
For the first time in 20 years, the United States not at war. We've turned the page. All the unmatched strength, energy, and commitment, will, and resources of our nation are now fully and squarely focused on what's ahead of us.
Mr. Biden also called for intensive diplomacy to combat climate change and COVID-19.
Bombs and bullets cannot defend against COVID-19 or its future variants. To fight this pandemic, we need a collective act of science and political will.
President Biden was only here at the UN for about an hour, the White House says, due to COVID concerns. Tomorrow, he'll convene a virtual COVID-19 summit. Monday, the UN Secretary General told reporters the relationship between the U.S. and China is completely dysfunctional and warned it could lead to a new Cold War.
We are not seeking a new Cold War or a world divided into rigid blocks. The United States is ready to work with any nation that steps up and pursues peaceful resolution to shared challenges.
This is the first in-person General Assembly in 2 years because of the pandemic. More than 100 world leaders are expected to address the General Assembly from the podium. Michael George, CBS News, the United Nations.
President Biden meets with the prime ministers from Australia and the UK this afternoon. Well, the cooler weather is finally arriving.
Yeah.
Michael Hayslip joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Tell you what, that front that rolled in, we're talking about a 20-degree difference from where we are right now to where we were at this point in time yesterday. And of course, that's thanks in part to the thunderstorm activity we had overnight. Into the early morning hours, this being the last day of summer 2021, we should be around 80 degrees. We're not going to reach that number for a couple of days. Now you see that 0.66 inches of accumulation of rain. Remember, that is yesterday up until midnight. We ended up with about 1.75 inches all said and done at Joplin Regional Airport. Starting to see the skies break a little bit as far as our cloud cover goes. Still got a little scattered shower there on the eastern portion of southwest Missouri, but certainly done with everything. And even this sitting out here in central Kansas really isn't going to affect us at all as we sit in the mid-60s, a little bit warmer out to the west where we're seeing some low 70s right now in Neodesha and Independence, 63 in Miami and 65 in Nevada as the cold front drops straight down right through us and now really has made it almost all the way through the central portion of Arkansas. By the time the afternoon is over with some additional sunshine, we're able to make it up into the low 70s. But remember, we should be at 80. Well, we're not only going to go low 70s, but then overnight, we're actually going to see temperatures that could dip as low as the high 40s. A little rebound tomorrow and plenty of sunshine with back-to-back days of 72 for the first day of fall. Then, Tanya, a little bit of a warm-up, but just the 80s by the weekend, and we're nice and dry. Don't have to fight the humidity.
All right, can't complain about that. That's going to be nice.
Nah, it'll be a great-looking weekend.
All right. Great way to kick off fall. Better than temperatures in the 90s, that's for sure. All right, thanks, Michael. Joplin police say burglaries in the city have decreased since 2018 and keep going down. From January to September 15th of last year, there were 313 burglaries. During that same time period this year, there were 302. JPD Captain William Davis says most residential burglaries in Joplin occurred during the day, while commercial burglaries happen mostly overnight. Davis says an increase in the number of people using security cameras like Ring has led to arrests, but there are also some steps people can take to prevent break-ins altogether.
We're asking people just do things that can make it harder on criminals to commit these crimes. Make sure and keep your windows closed if you're at home. If you have blinds or drapes, keep them closed. People can't see in, see what valuables you may have in your home. Lighting is another issue, especially at night.
Captain Davis recommends keeping your home locked and installing some sort of security device. An autopsy set for today could shed light on the remains found in Wyoming that appear to match the description of Gabby Petito. 22-year-old Long Island woman went missing while traveling cross-country with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Police resumed their search for Laundrie today, who has been named a person of interest. He disappeared after returning to his home in Florida alone. More earthquakes have rocked Spain's Canary Islands, speeding up evacuations as a volcano there is leaving a huge trail of destruction. CBS's Ian Lee shows us the dramatic video.
Nothing can stop these rivers of lava snaking through Spain's Canary Islands, devouring everything in their path. An unwelcomed guest in a region that hasn't seen a volcanic eruption in 50 years.
I heard a noise like a bang.
Since the volcano in La Palma blew on Sunday, smoldering lava, some as high as 20 feet, has destroyed more than 150 homes. Fortunately, no one has died as Spanish authorities evacuated close to 6,000 people ahead of the lava. They rescued livestock as well. Eva and her husband Weinhard from Austria escaped their vacation home, but may have lost it.
She doesn't know if the house is still standing, so it's horrible.
Residents can now only watch helplessly as the impending doom creeps slowly down the hill. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Damage from the volcano has already topped $470 million. Scientists say the lava flows could last for weeks or months. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, Tony winner Ben Platt returns for the film adaptation of the smash hit musical Dear Evan Hansen. We hear from the cast. And later, Howard's serving up chili mac and cheese in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. The smash hit Broadway musical Dear Evan Hansen and its Tony-winning star hit the big screen this weekend in a film adaptation. As David Daniel reports, the movie stars say its themes of loneliness and isolation resonate deeply with them, especially now.
Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? I wish everything was different. Wish I was part of something. I wish that anything I said mattered.
Ben Platt returns to the title role in Dear Evan Hansen. 6 years after he first played the teen with social anxiety, Platt says he's learned from Evan.
I think seeing how dire things get for him in the story and how much redemption he's able to have, it's really encouraged me in my own life to force myself off those cliffs and really experience those moments of pain or discomfort in the name of something deeper and more connected.
Let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay.
I didn't know that you were hurting. When you see how complicated this period of life is, I think for adolescents and for parents as well.
For me, it just felt like such a universal story. Just about needing each other, about connectivity.
When I read the script, I cried throughout the entire thing.
There are a lot of people who feel like us.
Co-star Amanda Stenberg says she poured a lot of herself into her character.
It does have to do with like my own depression and anxiety and being so anxious that, you know, I'm not going to be enough for other people.
If you knew who I am, just how broken I am.
I already know you. And I love you.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Dear Evan Hansen opens in theaters across the U.S. this Friday. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you like mac and cheese and chili, then you're going to love how we combine them to create a taste sensation that'll blow your mind.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
20 full days into the month of September, 21st indicating the last full day of summer. And check out that bottom line right there. That September average high still eclipsing 90 degrees, 20 full days. And our average high is 90 and a half. Now that's going to drastically change here because we're going to be able to ride the 70s, at least for our last day of summer and to begin fall. But look at that line that we had before that. I think this thing's seriously going to look like a roller coaster here by the time we get to the end of this week. Skies beginning to show a little blue over 7th and Range Line. Earlier this morning, Tanya and I are watching the rain come down sideways during the morning show, an indicator about Joplin picking up about 1 3/4 inches of rain. We saw close to 2 inches out in Vernon and also Newton counties. Storm reports indicating that with the 45-mile-an-hour winds that we had, we did have some limbs down in both Newton and McDonald County. Nothing serious to speak of as far as structural damage, and also, too, no watches or warnings currently in effect. Just really some cool temperatures as we range anywhere from the mid-60s out in the eastern portion of southwest Missouri to the low 70s in southeast Kansas. Two things of note. Number one, on the flip side of the storm system, that's when the wind shifted around, and it's coming in at pretty good right now. We're talking close to 20 miles an hour out in Chanute and Independence, 12 miles per hour in Joplin. But it's also a dry air mass, and that's going to be a key factor for us when we get into the weekend, because we are going to warm up just a little bit, but we're not going to have to fight a big difference between the temperature and what it actually feels like. Look at that 20-degree drop, 23-degree drop down in Anderson and in Grove from where we were yesterday. Substantially cooler as the front and the mid-level jet stream swept in off the Canadian border, brought cooler temperatures that have now penetrated as far south as the Red River and then kind of jet up through central Arkansas right there, and have forced all the rain. Gives you an indicator of when I was talking about how dry that was. Look at all this up here throughout the upper plains all the way west of the Rockies. You're hard pressed to find any rain. You've got to ride the jet stream and get on the southeastern portion of it to pick up any precipitation. Speaking of precip, let's take a tropics run real fast. There's Tropical Storm Peter. Looks like he's going to take a little right turn. He's off the north coast of Puerto Rico right now, and he's going to take a right turn, stay off in the Atlantic and not bother any of the mid-Atlantic coast. And then we've got Rose still sitting out there as well, and she's going to do just about the same thing. She's going to turn into a low-pressure system and then take a right-hand turn and really shouldn't bother us at all. If you're curious, Sam is up next. That'll be the Arletta S will be Sam. Our weather trend here in the 4 states as we wrap up summer. It's the fall equinox, just to be specific, 2:21 Central Time tomorrow afternoon. It's tomorrow afternoon. And when we get there, we're going to be coming off of a night where we're going to throw up some 40-degree temperatures here later tonight. We might be one of those where I know we enjoy fresh air and letting the circulation throughout the house and everything, but I don't know. You may want to close up the windows tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're right back into the 70s. Now, we'll have a warming trend headed into the weekend that'll feed us in temperatures up into the 80s. But, Tanya, overnight lows are going to be perfect for any evening activities you have. Get out, take a walk, enjoy some fresh air. And we managed to skirt an entire 7-day without having the magic 90 pop up, which we have been averaging for 20 days.
Oh, I'm going to make you hold to that on that Monday. 89, no higher.
That'll creep up. I did it to make you feel better.
I don't want to see it.
It's psychological.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, we take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Bunny Hardiman. Hardiman served his country in major battles of the Korean and Vietnam Wars from 1950 to 1966. He fought with the 74th Engineers during the Korean War and the 24th Infantry in Vietnam. His service earned him a Good Conduct Medal and a Korean ribbon. We thank you, Staff Sergeant Bunny Hardiman, our 4-state hero. We'll talk about taking comfort food to a whole new level. Today's recipe combines 2 tried and true favorites, chili and macaroni and cheese. The result is one beefy, cheesy casserole that's good to the very last bite. Howard shows us how to make his chili mac and cheese in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We're a nation that loves when we combine 2 classic flavors into one. I mean, Who doesn't love peanut butter and chocolate or fried chicken and waffles? So today, let me show you a new favorite that combines our best mac and cheese with a shortcut beefy chili. We start by cooking some elbow macaroni according to the package directions. Once they're tender, we drain them. And while they sit for a sec, we melt some butter in the same pot. To that, we add some flour and dry mustard, along with a bit of salt and pepper. After this comes together, we stir in some milk and let it cook until it thickens up. Once it does, in goes lots of cheddar cheese. After it melts, we add our pasta, and into a casserole dish it goes. Some shortcut chili goes over that, along with more cheese and crispy fried onions. That'll give it the crispy, cheesy top we all love. After it's baked, it's time to call the troops to the table. Does this look amazing or what? And talk about the perfect combo. You get the creaminess of the mac and cheese and the beefiness from the chili. To get the recipe for our chili mac and cheese, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found 2 classics in one way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Yummy. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Little taste of fall for our last full day of summer. Highs this afternoon around 72 degrees. It is a breezy one out there. It's coming in from the north, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting from 20 to 25. Little repeat performance for our first day of fall on Wednesday, and then gradually warming into the 80s by the weekend.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, the holidays are still 3 months away, but experts say Americans should start gift shopping now. We're going to look at supply chain issues that are delaying overseas shipments, including shipments of toys. Plus, healthcare providers deal with confusion surrounding COVID vaccine boosters after the FDA's vote last week. We're going to have a breakdown of who is actually eligible. And United Way of Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas hosts a drive-through agency rally to begin its annual campaign. Hope you join us. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.